The best of the morning to you. This is Monday with Friday, preparing you for a better week ahead. Today, most Americans celebrate the birthday of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King delivered countless sermons and speeches and wrote several books, each abounding with powerful thoughts and timelessly prophetic warnings. Some of Dr. King's words might address some situation you and I face today, so let's allow him to speak to us. As a man of faith, you won't be surprised that King said this: take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. King was consumed with matters of justice. He saw no line drawn, as some do today, between the gospel he preached on the one hand and the health of the society in which he lived on the other. For him, social justice was an indispensable segment of the good news of Jesus Christ. Therefore, he said things like this: the day we see truth and cease to speak is the day we begin to die. King, you might remember, was deeply disturbed by the silence of his white clergy colleagues at the oppression they knew black Americans were suffering. So he would be horrified to find that today, the majority of white evangelicals and white Catholics are not merely silent. No, they loudly support with their votes and even their prayers and worship the lies and liars whose chief aim is the demolition of the Civil Rights and Voting Rights Act and the dignity of people they consider beneath themselves, for which King fought and died. King kept an eye on economic justice. He was correct then as he would be correct now when he said, "We all too often have socialism for the rich and rugged free market capitalism for the poor." Way back in 1966, when Barack Obama was only 4 years old, King said, quote, "Of all the forms of inequality, injustice in health care is the most shocking and inhumane," unquote. I'm still flummoxed that last year a white man in a white church accosted me for referencing that injustice in a sermon, since I saw that everywhere Jesus went, he was healing all kinds of people, both foreigners and nationals. That man said he saw healing in the Bible, but not healthcare. This is the incredible illogic that hoodwinks people whose hearts are in the wrong place. Talking about hearts in the wrong place, King said, "One day we will learn that the heart can never be totally right when the head is totally wrong." Those are solid words. King could write the book on courage. He said, "Courage is an inner resolution to go forward despite obstacles. Cowardice is submissive surrender to circumstances. Courage breeds creativity. Cowardice represses fear and is mastered by it. Cowardice asks, is it safe? Expediency asks, is it politically correct? Vanity asks, is it popular? Courage asks, is it right?" On the matters of harmony, brotherhood, love, and non-violence, the Nobel Peace Prize winner said that all life is interrelated. All men are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. King said, "Hate, like an unchecked cancer, corrodes the personality and eats away its vital unity. Hate destroys a man's sense of values and his objectivity. It causes him to describe the beautiful as ugly and the ugly as beautiful, and to confuse the true with the false and the false with the true. That man probably still lives today. For what do we see now?" King warned white people then, as he would warn some now, to, quote, "re-educate themselves out of their racial ignorance," unquote. He might use the word racist now and might rebuke some blacks who cluelessly embrace certain white political and religious leaders who shall never see or treat those said black people as equals, and who keep denying that systemic racism exists that has benefited whites for centuries. Long before white nationalism became a domestic terroristic threat to America, according to the FBI, and long before it ever began to show up nakedly in many white American churches, though it was always there in the American South, King was warning us with these words: if we are to have peace on earth, our loyalties must become ecumenical rather than sectional. Our loyalties must transcend our race, our tribe, our class, and our nation. And this means we must develop a world perspective. Now a final word from me. Parochialism, nationalism, racism, materialism, and militarism are only a few of the wicked things that too many people who say they are decent or even religious or even Christian embrace. With these things, we kill our fellow humans. And with these things, whether North Korean, Russian, Burmese, Indian, Jamaican, African, European, South American, or North American, or American, we shall continue to kill ourselves. May God bless the memory of Martin Luther King. I am 𝗪𝗀𝘀𝗀, and your week just got better. I'll see you again next week. Happy Monday, all the way to Friday.